Well, it was a packed weekend of political and other news. Of course, I am mandated for health and safety reasons by OSHA to not pay attention to the news during the weekends unless I have some live event or something. And I didn't. And last night when I sat down and said to myself, sir, let's prepare the Monday show, I was stunned by the things that I saw. And we're going to go through all of it, quite frankly. I want to start with the Biden fundraising blockbuster. Joe Biden has posted a $72 million fundraising total for Q2. That's April, May, and June. Now, you might remember that last week we talked about Trump's fundraising, which came in the low to mid 30 millions. Now, why do we care about fundraising? Of course, if you said to me, David, is the campaign finance system broken? Yes. Should we have public financing of elections instead of this money freak show? I would say, of course we should. Of course we should. We don't. And these fundraising numbers are a proxy to fundraising enthusiasm. And what we see here, as reported by NPR, President Biden posts blockbuster 3-month fundraising total. Biden is starting his re-election campaign with tens of millions of dollars in the bank, dwarfing second quarter fundraising totals already announced by the campaigns of Trump and DeSantis. According to the announcement, the Biden-Harris campaign, DNC, and joint fundraising committees raised $72 million from April through June and now have $77 million in cash on hand. Because Biden is the incumbent and his campaign is integrated with the DNC, the fundraising total represents all the funds that the re-elect could draw upon. Interestingly, although these numbers are more than double what Trump raised in Q2 and more than what every Republican combined raised in Q2, this is not as much money as Obama and Trump raised at previous times in their re-election campaigns. Trump and the Republican National Committee had raised $105 million in the second quarter of 2019. We know how that turned out. Obama and the DNC raised $86 million and did win ultimately re-election. So that is a good thing. There's a bunch of stories here that I think are important to talk about. And of course, at the end of the day, this is all about how does this link to polling, if at all, and what is happening with polling? And we'll talk about that. First thing, there are those who wrote to me and said, David, these numbers don't matter. And the reason they don't matter is that Biden is running alone and unopposed, whereas the Republicans are still in a primary. So it makes sense that Republicans might not be ready yet to start donating when a bunch of the people running aren't going to be the nominees. Couple different answers to that. If you look at the Republican primary numbers, unless something dramatic happens, Trump is going to be the nominee. He's the presumptive frontrunner. He has close to 55% of all the support. The other candidates are splitting up the 45% that's left. And in there are still some I don't knows and not sure. So in a sense, Trump is the presumptive frontrunner. Okay. The other side of this is not everybody agrees that Joe Biden is running unopposed. In fact, lots of people get mad when you say that Joe Biden is running unopposed. And they're saying you're ignoring Marianne Williamson and you're ignoring the great Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who now says that COVID may be ethnically targeted to spare Jews. We'll get to that a little bit later. So there are some counterpoints to that. That being said, it is true that Republican voters might be waiting for a little more definition. That is true. But the other aspect of this that's funny is that Biden isn't really campaigning in the way that Trump and DeSantis are. Biden's been doing overseas trips and focusing on policy. What the right loves to say is being in the basement. And yet Joe Biden is still fundraising incredible numbers. Now, I want to be really clear. The most important part of this is, do these great fundraising numbers mean we don't have to worry about voting? And the answer is, of course, that is very much not what they mean. Just look at the general election polling. New poll from YouGov has Biden tied with Trump among registered voters and Biden leading Trump by 1 among all adults. That is nothing. That is nothing. That tells us MAGA could win again. Trump could be president. Trump could get 2 Supreme Court picks. We know how that worked out for us in 2016. Okay. Another poll, Morning Consult from a few days ago. Biden leading DeSantis by 5. Biden leading Trump by 1. Many polls have Trump doing worse than DeSantis. This poll has DeSantis doing better than Trump. Again, what this means is It doesn't matter if we look at the polls and we see Biden +5 or Biden -5, or we actually don't see Biden -5 in any poll. But regardless, Trump would do better. DeSantis would do better. None of it matters. What matters is, as many of us said in 2016, you might not love Hillary, but if Trump wins, he's going to get 2 or 3 Supreme Court picks. And he did. And they got rid of Roe v. Wade, and they got rid of voting rights stuff. And they did. I mean, I could give you the whole list. We can't let it happen again. So the real important takeaway here is, whatever the fundraising, whatever the polling, whatever's going on in your state or in the neighboring state or whatever, we must vote. We're 15 and a half months out from this thing. It's going to go by like that. We must vote no matter what number anybody shows you. That all being said, the fundraising discrepancy between Biden and Trump is very, very interesting. I love a good sauna. After a workout, after a stressful or long day, you get in the sauna to unwind. The blood vessels dilate, your heart rate goes up, it can soothe muscles and more. Now you can enjoy the same effects from the comfort of your home without a bunch of strangers walking around, which I personally am not big on. Our sponsor, Bon Charge, makes the world's safest and most advanced sauna blanket, and it's tremendous. I love getting in there for reading or get a little work done, a little meditation, take a nap. Just gets you really relaxed, super easy to clean, really compact, lightweight design, simple to fold up and put away when you're done with it. And it comes with a 12-month warranty. If you don't love it, returns are really easy, no questions asked. Go to boncharge.com/Pacman. Use the code Pacman for 15% off. The link is down below.